Hello everybody, from a very cold grey morning here in Manchester. Let's start off this adventure of ours at a monument, at a statue which I believe best encapsulates the spirit of this city. Take a look at this, the Vimto Monument. The city of Manchester asked the students in 1992, give us some ideas for a public art monument. And the students chose Vimto. Isn't that quite funny? I think that really shows the spirit of Manchester, where it's industrial, it's very down to earth, it's very working class, and they take themselves very, very unseriously. So that is Manchester for you. You also tend to get a feeling everywhere that Manchester is perhaps the most liberal space in the UK. I've been to quite a few cities already, and take a look at this. Right, no corpse, no cops. Yeah, I think this is the Antifa sign. I might be wrong. But yeah, things like this everywhere. It's a very left-leaning city, and the place I'm walking to right now will really put that into perspective. Where I am right now is Gay Village. That's literally what it is called. You can see a lot of rainbow flags, LGBTQ flags, and in the distance you can see an ode to Manchester's working class past of the Industrial Revolution, an unused factory chimney. In the middle of the Gay Village runs the canal, which connects the west coast of England and the east coast of England back that way. So it's very filthy right now, and you can only imagine that it would have been filthier back in the day. Imagine during the Industrial Revolution with a lot of toxic waste. On the side of the Union Hotel, you can see bees everywhere. And if you observe the trams and buses in Manchester, you'll see very bee-themed vehicles as well. Yellow and black, yellow and black. And we have a fantastic example. Bee Network. The bee represents the worker bee, which really brought up this history during Manchester's boom during the Industrial Revolution. So the bee still lives on, the spirit of the worker. This very boring and uninviting building with barbed wire around has one of Manchester's funniest stories. So a homeless person in the early 2000s managed to jump over this wall, went inside, saw that the door was opened, he lit up a cigarette, accidentally set fire to the place. People asked, why is there, so many beds, food? What is going on? What is this building? Then they admitted that, actually this was a nuclear bunker. Yeah, this was meant to be a nuclear bunker during the Cold War. And if London were to collapse, this would have been the place where they would then establish communications with Washington DC. There are undersea cables from this very place all the way till America, in case London was gone. If you're wondering how the hell do I know so much about Manchester, well, I'll let you in on a little secret. This is my second time here in the city. The first time I came here, I attended a walking tour, and the guide was fantastic. Taught me so much about Manchester, really piqued my interest in the city. I'll link the guide to her tour down below in the description. It's a free walking tour, starts 11 a.m. at the Alan Turing statue. Definitely go there when you're in Manchester. I'm now at St. Peter's Square, which is the heart and soul of Manchester. If London has Trafalgar Square, Manchester has St. Peter's Square. In front of me is the Central Library, built to model the Pantheon in Rome. Over there is a statue to Emilia Pankhurst, one of the pioneers of the Suffragette Movement here in England. This was the person I was talking about, Emilia Pankhurst, 1858 to 1928, and the slogan she operated on was deeds, not words. What does that mean? To put it simply, before Miss Pankhurst came along, the suffragette movement, women who wanted the right to vote, they would write in letters to their MPs, be very polite to their politicians, asking them that, hey, could we get the right to vote? But nothing materialized. Then one day Pankhurst thought, this is going nowhere. She took matters into her own hands. She would throw bottles and other objects into big buildings around Manchester. She would heckle politicians and really took it to them so that they just couldn't ignore her and her compatriots like they used to. Eventually, in 1928, just 3 months after she died, women got the right to vote. Sadly, she didn't live to see that. To put that in perspective, the year is 2025. It has been still less than 100 years since women got the right to vote here in the UK. Behind me is the East Midlands Hotel, one of the best hotels in all of Manchester and in northern England. Now, this hotel is iconic for so many reasons. You should be able to see a car in there, yeah? And that's just not any ordinary car. That is a car gifted by Rolls-Royce, because it is in this very hotel where Mr. Rolls met Mr. Royce, leading to the birth of Rolls-Royce. Manchester was a Roman fort. any town or city in England which has the word Chester in it was a Roman fort, because Chester means Roman fort. Fast forward, the Roman Empire collapses and the Industrial Revolution kicks in. Manchester becomes Cottonopolis. 2/3 of the world's cotton is traded right here in Manchester. Cottonopolis sounds great until you realize where all this cotton was coming from. Yes, plucked by black American slaves. And that gives rise to Abraham Lincoln over there. Again, the protagonist of our story are the working class folks of Manchester. They write a letter to Abraham Lincoln saying that they are no longer going to be working in their factories because they know that the cotton which they are working with is seeped with blood, is seeped with slavery. And he actually responds, and the response they got from Abraham Lincoln is one of the most remarkable and perhaps the birth of the special relationship between the UK and the US as we know it today. I have the letter on my phone over here and I'm going to read it, right? Under the circumstances, I cannot but regard your decisive utterances upon the question of slavery as an instance of sublime Christian heroism which has not been surpassed in any age or in any country. Yeah, Abraham Lincoln knew how to write a letter. When Manchester refused the imports of slave-picked cotton, the local industry collapsed. People were homeless, jobless, and when the North won the Civil War in America, they then sent food aid to the citizens of Manchester. And so that really shows the bond that the US and the UK have had for so many years. Manchester is home to many of the UK's firsts, but the thing I'm going to see in this museum is special globally. And that would be the Manchester-Liverpool train station, where the world's first passenger train left from right here in Manchester to Liverpool on 15 September 1830, hence giving it the name Manchester-Liverpool Station. As luck would have it, however, this place is closed for renovation. Yeah, that sucks. They're only opening 2 days from now. So, okay, a bit of a bummer because I was really excited as someone who loves trains. I find it very cute in the UK that, okay, so those are kids on excursion, school excursion. They make them wear high-vis. How cute is that? So that the teachers can't miss them anywhere. So adorable. All this while, I've been talking about what a cute, eccentric city Manchester is. And don't get me wrong, it is. But the history of its dark past always shows up wherever you look around. So even these canals, yeah, why were they built? To bring in cotton from the Americas right into the heart of the city for manufacturing. Slavery built Manchester. Manchester became rich because of slavery. We always speak about slavery with regards to Africa as well as in America, but make no mistake, a lot of the UK became rich because of slavery as well, and even today you can see signs of it everywhere. What do you do then when slave cotton stops coming in? You then go to the next best alternative because the spice must always flow. I'm now in the Royal Exchange Theatre where 2/3 of the world's cotton were traded using those counters over there. You wouldn't be able to see it on camera, but let me read what each of them says. So this is blank. In the middle, that's American cotton, which, you know, from the remnants of slave-picked cotton were being traded over here. Then over there it's Manufi as well as Ashmuni. And Manufi and Ashmuni are basically Egyptian and Indian cotton. This vast space was 3 times larger when cotton trading was happening over here. At one point in time, it was even called perhaps the largest room in the world. There were that many cotton traders. So imagine every square inch on the floor, there was a cotton trading company and deals would be happening just like that. Manchester was a place no one wanted to go to. It was derelict, the infrastructure was crumbling, there was crime everywhere. Then on 15 June 1996, something happened to Manchester which literally shook the core of the city and changed it forever. The most powerful bomb since World War II in Europe exploded right over there on that very date, detonated by the Irish Republic Army, which essentially destroyed most of the city centre. For Mancunians, which is how you call the people of Manchester by the way, they were very happy about this news. All the crumbling infrastructure, all the streets that were in very bad shape could now be rebuilt, and that forms most of the Manchester you see today. This bar, for example, was literally brought on wheels from a nearby street to create what is now the medieval quarter. So the bomb gave Mancunians a new lease of life, a good chance to rebuild their city from the ground up, and wow, have they done a good job of it. Manchester has a lot of ups and downs, like I said, colonialism, slavery, boom and bust, and perhaps if a bubble breaks, for example in the financial space, it could be another bust for Manchester. But until then, the city is thriving and it's nice to be over here. I'm now standing in front of Chetham's library, the oldest library in the English-speaking world. Check it out. Apart from the library being popular because it's very old, it was also the place where Joseph Engels and Karl Marx would often come together and study. Joseph Engels was a trader in the exchange which I showed you guys earlier. He would trade cotton during the day, was a true capitalist wearing his top hat and everything. And in the evenings, he would write the Communist Manifesto with Karl Marx. Quite literally, the first champagne socialist. Capitalist by day, communist by night. Think about how dire the quality of life must have been for the average English worker in Manchester at the height of industrialization. Karl Marx saw that the warehouse owners, the mill runners, these guys were very rich, but the people who worked in the factories were as poor. They were coughing, soot all the time. The conditions must have been so bad that he literally came up with communism. So that's another bit of Manchester for you, the birthplace of communism, at least ideologically. Chetham's library is right beside Chetham School of Music, and if I'm not wrong, it's one of the best schools of music in the UK, if not the world. Chetham's hospital, which is also I guess in this complex, is a grade 1 building. Grade 1 buildings are essentially very important historic buildings in the UK, and do you know which city has the most grade 1 buildings in this country? Yes, it is Manchester. It's not London. So if you want to see true British history, it is Manchester that you have to come to, not London. I'm not going to speak about the obvious, right? I've been in Manchester for so long, but I haven't spoken about football. What the hell? So I know Manchester is home to 2 Premier League teams, Man U and Man City, and over there is the National Football Museum, that big glass triangle with the footballs down there. It has good reviews on Google Maps, so if you're in town, definitely do check it out. The reason I took a tram was to get to Old Trafford. So Old Trafford has 2 stadiums. That's the cricket stadium, the one I came for, and over that way is the football stadium, I think. So let me try to see if I can check out both the stadiums, but first let's get to the cricket one. Unfortunately, it seems like you can't enter inside. I actually did manage to walk in, but then the security guard over there is a real prick. He was kind of like very rude to me, and he said get out the way you came from and that sort of stuff. So yeah, not the nicest guy. What a prick. In life, you must never give up, and I really wanted to see the stadium from inside, and boom, take a look at that. That's the Jimmy Anderson stand, by the way, which I wanted to see in person, and now that I have, I'm so happy. There's a restaurant on the first floor of the hotel beside the stadium. So just go to the hotel and say that you want to go to the restaurant, and they'll tell you to go to the first floor. And from the first floor, you can get the view that I'm getting. So many sporting memories over here. This is where India lost the 2019 World Cup. Ricky Ponting's 158, Yorkshire versus Lancashire. Yeah, I'm very happy to be over here. This is Man United's home ground, Old Trafford. So both Lancashire's home ground and Man United's home ground, they both call Old Trafford because they're in the neighborhood of Trafford. At least that's what I understand. Anyways, it's so surreal being here because Man United's one of the most prominent sporting teams in the world, let alone football. You can enter the stadium, just that you have to pay quite a bit of a fee over here because it's a guided tour, about £20 plus. So enter it if you're really into football. If you're a Man U fan, this season isn't going too well for you guys, I'm aware. So if you want to support your club, yeah, you can do it over here. Just walking on the street in autumn has to be such a pleasant experience. Like, take a look at this tree, right? There's green, there's yellow, there's red, there's orange. All of them just shouting for a little bit of your attention. And on the ground, the leaves have fallen. And you can look at the dried leaves, the brown ones, the red ones. So beautiful. And the sound it makes when you walk, that crunch, very beautiful. Autumn's a fantastic time. I didn't eat lunch and I'm famished. I'm gonna have dinner at a true Manchester hidden gem. So over there is this and that, right? And it's quite literally hidden from public view. The last time I came here, my guide said that this was the place to eat. And when I did eat, the prices were amazing. For a full plate of vegetarian food, it was £7-ish. You would not get that kind of prices, especially in city centre, in any major city of England. So I'm gonna go over there and smash a full plate of food right now. Just from that clip, I think it would have been apparent as to how hungry I was and that I really enjoyed my dinner. Anyways, the day is over. I'm over here at Manchester Piccadilly, which is the main train station for trains coming in and out of Manchester. I wanted to ask you guys, right? What do you think about Manchester? In my opinion, Manchester is a city where you don't come for sightseeing, but to really understand the city's soul, the city's essence. the history that's gone through, the booms and the busts. So now Manchester is in a boom, right? There's luxury apartments everywhere. The city is going through a bit of a renaissance. Will there be a bust? How will the bust look like? So many questions. The city's eccentric nature, it's very cute, but at the same time there's a dark underbelly as well. We explored all these themes today, and I'm gonna leave it to you guys to decide for yourself on your opinion of what is Manchester. What does Manchester mean to you? Thank you so much for watching this video, and the places which I visited will be down in the description below, in case you guys, when you're coming to Manchester, you want to visit these same places. Follow me on Instagram, subscribe to this YouTube channel, it means a lot, it helps a lot. Of course, like the video if you enjoyed it, and do comment what are your thoughts on Manchester and this video. Till then, see you from my next city, somewhere in Europe. Goodbye.